Hello friends, welcome back to another video. In the last video, we created an Android app that were consisted of three activities: login activity, where user inputs username and password, email and password, and if it is correct, he is redirected to the dashboard activity. Otherwise, he will be shown an error message. And there was also a button that is taking user to the registration activity if the user is new to the app. And on start method, we are checking the current user, and we are checking if it is null or not. If the user is not null, such that he's already logged in, so we will be taking him to the dashboard activity. And if we'll go to the layout file of this login activity, you can see that we have two inputs here and a button to login and a button to take him to the registration screen. And if we'll go to the registration activity, what we are doing here is we are taking the input from the input fields and we are validating them, and if they are not empty, we are using create user with email and password method of the Firebase. And on complete, we check if it is successful, then we'll show user a success message and take him to the dashboard activity. Otherwise, we are showing him a error message. And similarly, we are checking the current user, and if it is not null, then we are taking him to the dashboard activity. So if I'll go to the dashboard activity, here we are simply setting the edit text value as welcome and the email of the user. So, and here we are checking if the current user, and if a user is null, we are taking him to the login activity. So that was the work we have done in the previous video. So in this video, we will be adding real-time database to store the information of the user that has been registered to this app, and we are doing some modification in our current code. So I'll start from the dashboard activity, and let's change this late int variable to variable and assign null to it, so that on destroy method of this activity we will assign null to the binding variable to avoid memory leaks and other issues like that. So let's change the name to this, and let's create a get method. So what we'll do is private val, and this will be finding get, and we'll assign underscore binding. So it's giving us an error. It must be initialized. We have initialized it. Okay, so let's change the binding variable name as well here, and we'll keep this binding dot as it is, and let's override a method on destroy. And let's assign our binding variable to sorry. Okay, so let's do the same in other activities as well. Change it to where for binding null, and let's create private where binding get equals to underscore binding and safety as well. And let's do this here. Okay, so to make it a bit fast, let's copy this on destroy method and directly paste it here, and do the same in registration activity as well. Okay, so let's quickly do the same in this activity as well. And let's create or get method for getting the binding variable. and assign underscore binding to it, and let's change this binding to underscore binding, and that will pretty much. And one more thing we will be adding here is earlier we don't have any progress bar, or you can say that any loading dialog that shows user that the app is processing or something like that. So we will be adding progress dialog in our activities. So I'll start from this login activity. Let me initialize, and let me create a variable named progress dialog, and that will be of type progress dialog, and let's make it int-var, and we'll initialize this progress dialog here, and we'll be passing this as the context. And let's add some properties, set some properties of it. So let's set its message and title. So let's add title as please wait, and let's set cancelable to false, so that user cannot get out of it. And what we'll do is we will show the progress dialog here when validation succeeded, and we will dismiss it on inside the add-on complete research. So we will dismiss it here. So let's just copy these 3 lines and go to registration activity, do the same here. Okay, so we'll be copying this line from there to paste it here, and we will be displaying it here, progress dialog dot show once the validation is succeeded, and we will be dismissing it here once the add-on complete listener is completed. So we will be using progress dialog dot dismiss. So that will be it. Now we have successfully implemented progress dialog as well, and let's go to dashboard activity, and let's remove it as it will be crashing our app. And okay, so we will add else here, and if user is not null, we will be setting this variable here. So let's run our app, and let's see the output. Okay, so we have an error here. We mistakenly added an extra ending tag bracket. So let's run it again. In the meantime, let's go to our Firebase console. So currently we have only one user here. I'll register another user, and let's see. We'll go to our registration activity by clicking on this, and since it's not being used, but since we are validating this field, so it is necessary to input something here. So let's add ABC, and let's add abc@gmail.com, and let's add his password as PASS123, and click on register. So there we go. We have this progress dialog to show user that something is going on. Okay, so if I'll click on logout and log in this user using abc@gmail.com and password as PASS123, and click on login, so it will be logging us in. So that was about the previous video. We have added a few lines of code to make our app a bit more efficient. Let's add one more thing in our progress dialog. Let's set message as well. And let's change it to title to message. Loading, please wait. That would be much better. Change this in liquidity as well. You can type any message you want. Okay. So the next step is to add Firebase real-time database to our app. So currently we haven't added it yet. Let's close them all. Click on tool and open Firebase Assistant, and we will be adding Firebase real-time database dependencies in our app. So we will select real-time database and click on getting started with real-time database kotlin. And we have already connected our app to Firebase, so we will be doing the second step, adding the real-time database SDK to our app. So I'll click on it and click on accept changes to add the dependencies to our project. Let's wait for it. Okay, so in the meantime it is building. Let me show you the user that we have added recently. It will be shown here. So this is the user that we have just registered using our app. So let's wait for it. Okay, so it is also, so let's back to the code. What we will be doing here is we have inside our registration activity we have this name field as well. So when we register a user using Firebase, it saves the email address and password of that user, but we have to save the name as well. So beside names we will be saving email and password if required as well. So what I am doing is I'm saving these three fields data to real-time database. So the easy or the simplest way is to add a model, create a model class for that, and we will be posting the data of that model class to real-time database as an object. So first of all we'll create a model class. Right click on your project package and select kotlin class. Okay, so we will be naming it as user MC as user model class, and let's add few properties to it. We will be having var name of type string, and we will having email of type string, and there will be a password. We may have a unique ID. Let's keep it as ID of string, and there may be a record ID as well. Or okay, so I'll show you the difference between both IDs. If you are confused with them, so I'll change it to auth ID. Okay, so it's the authentication ID of the user that is logged in using these two variables. So let's go to our registration activity, and here we will be creating an object of our model class. So let's create where user equals to user MC and user dot name equals to name user dot email equals to email, and what's wrong with it? Well, okay, so go back to our model class and change where to where, val to var variable, so that we can reassign value to it. So now there is gone. User dot password equals to password. Okay, so here comes the tricky part. So since okay, so we'll move it from here to here. If user account is successfully created, then we will be using this model class object, and user dot authentication id equals to mauth dot current user dot user id uid, and it is null. Okay, so the last thing we have here is the record id, that is empty right now. So we have to get this record id as well. So what we'll be doing is, first of all, we'll get reference to the Firebase real-time database. For that, we have to enable the real-time database. So go to Firebase console, click on real-time database, and we have to create it first. So I'll click on create database. I'll keep it as it is, and I'll use test mode for now. Click on enable, and it will create a database for us. Wait for it, and once it's done, we'll be moving forward. Okay, so we have to initially get reference to this node so that we can add data to it. So to get reference, we have to use, I'll create a variable val dbref equal to. So what we will be doing is Firebase database dot get instance dot reference. So what it will be doing is, it will give us the reference of this node, this parent node, and what we will be doing here is, we are creating a child, and we will name it as users. Okay, so we have to get this record id first. So what we will be doing is, we will assign this user record. We will get the record id by doing val record id equals to dbref dot, we will be pushing a value to it and then getting the reference of that value. So what it will do is, it will push a node and get the value of it, get key. Actually, we'll use get key and convert it to string and assign this key to this record id. And after that, we will assign record id is equal to record id, and we can remove this one. So now we have complete object of this user model class. Now what we will be doing is, we will simply use the dbref dot child, that is record id, and we'll push value to as a child to it, and the value would be the user class. Okay, so we will be setting value, and let's add on complete listener. If dot task is successful, do this, else do this. So if the task is successful, it will be if it is not successful, let's do that first. Saving will display message as saving data failed due to this exception, and if it is successful, then we will do this. We'll cut it from here to here. So first of user will be created, and after that the information of the user will be stored in this model class, and we will be adding this model class to as a child to this unique key that is under this user node. And in this way, if it is successful, then what it will be doing. Okay, so keep it as it is. If it is stored in real-time database, then we will be showing this success message, and we will be redirecting user to dashboard activity. So in this way, our data will be stored in the real-time database. So let's run this app and test if it is working or not. So I'll run the app, and let's go to the application. We can delete the users from here, or we can simply create new users, no issue. So let's stay in real-time database portion, and let the app to build and run successfully, and after that we will be functionality. So let's wait for it. Finished, and it will soon launching our app. So let's go to Firebase console, and let's open the emulator here, the app to get launched. So I have opened the real database as well. So let's create another user to see if it is storing its data to Firebase real-time database or not. So I'll name the user as XYZ, and XYZ at the rate of gmail.com, and we'll keep its password as PASS at the rate of 123, and let's click on register button. So it is showing us loading, please wait, and as soon as it's done, it has taken us to the dashboard activity, and here we have user, then this unique record ID, and under this ID we have the user that we have just created. So the purpose of this record ID is to get reference to this node. Whenever we need this record ID, we can fetch it. We can also fetch user based on this email or any of these things. So this is how we can store our data to Firebase real-time database. And let's see go to the authentication tab, and here our user, here is the user that we have just created. So this is how we can store our data to Firebase real-time database. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and in the next video we will be fetching data from Firebase real-time database and display it in our app that will be inside a recycler view. That would be fine, I guess. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you in the next video.